All right, hey y'all. So tomorrow is World Suicide Prevention Day, which I always think about because as someone who lived for many, many years with suicidal ideation, I think it's important to talk about. And especially now being like 13 years tomorrow from the time I tried to take my life for the first time. Um, it's I think it's so important to talk about the fact that it really does get better. So I did this like 5 years ago or so, where I like read back through some old things I'd written that are just like kind of hard to read at times, but like very interesting to look back on, especially now, since most of these things I wrote almost a decade ago, if not over a decade ago, when I was at my like darkest. And so I thought I would just share some of those things and talk about it. So I think these are all in like date order. So my oldest post, I wrote a lot of this stuff on Tumblr back then. I did have like a physical diary that I lost, which is probably for the better because I know it was hella depressing. But starting with September 17th of 2011, so about 1 year from when I had originally first tried to commit suicide, I wrote, "Sometimes it feels like the world's on my shoulders." And at this time of my life, I was like heavily self-harming, so that was also a factor in things. So November 8th of that year, to run that blade across your wrist, just that pain can distract you from the pain inside. December 28th, 2011, wake up, mask on, face the day. February 2nd, 2012, I hate myself. I really fucking hate myself. I also want to note that like almost all of this stuff that I felt and used to like thought about myself, like how much I hated myself and how much I just felt such disconnected from myself, changed when I transitioned. All of those like feelings of self-hatred were gone because I could finally be like true to myself and who I was meant to be. So I just want to touch on how important gender affirming care is. So yeah, especially this post here, September 23rd of 2012. I hate myself. I hate myself pretty fucking often. I hate mirrors. I hate the way I look. People say I'm beautiful, but I don't see what they see. I hate that I can't stand up for myself. I hate that I've got these secrets inside of me that no one knows. I hate so much about myself that I can't even write it all down. I hate being me. That's hard to read. I mean, I was so truly unhappy with myself and with my life. October 5th of 2012. Life is an endless battle. I wish I was good enough. November 7th, same year. 100% hate myself. I'm a waste of space. It's decided. November 25th. Struggling. April 1st of 2013. Drowning. April 5th. Nothing. I feel nothing. July 21st. There's nobody I hate more than myself. Why am I such a disappointment? November 4th. I'm not okay. Now this is a big one here. November 15th of 2013, I wrote this really long post, which I remember feeling like this quite often, which is really interesting to read back on now because I can 100% see myself with all the things I couldn't see at the time. And again, my gender affirming care was so critical in that becoming a reality. Okay, so here we go. I don't see a future. I try to imagine having a wife and a family and a house and a job that I love, and I see nothing, just a giant blank. I feel like I'm destined to die, and somehow that is comforting. I'd rather be dead than stuck here. I've always wished I could just be like a camera, recording the lives of my friends and family, but not having to live my own. I would still be there to see them through their lives, but I wouldn't have to live my own. I don't want to miss out on what my friends and family are doing. I want to see them get married, have children, grow old, but I just don't see myself doing it alongside them. I have so many questions about what happens when you die. I've always believed in heaven and hell. Is it really real? What if I end up burning in hell for eternity? I can't imagine that. I don't even know what eternity is supposed to mean. I don't want to be anything for very long. And heaven? I believe in God. I try to follow him, but it's hard and confusing. Heaven is obviously the better option. I'd like to go there. Would I be able to watch my friends and family from there? I wish I could talk to someone who is in heaven. There are days where the only thing I can think about is dying. Those days are the hardest to get through. I never want to cause my friends and family any pain. That's the only thing keeping me here, honestly. I've seen what happens when someone dies, how people are upset. I don't want my loved ones to feel that kind of pain, but I don't want to live with the pain I feel. The past is a burden that is too heavy to carry at times. The future is a blank. The present feels like a war. They would eventually work through their pain and move on. I would live on in the hearts of the people I loved, but I would be pain-free. They would eventually become pain-free too. They always say time heals. I'd be easily replaced. Everyone has someone else who could take my place. That one really fucking hits. Because now I am here in the future 10 years later. And I am imagining having a spouse and a family and a house. And I have a job that I love. And I want to be a dad. And I was married and I want to be married again probably. And, you know, I am living my own life now. And again, gender affirming care. Because these were all feelings I was having as a woman. Someone who was being forced to live as a woman day in and day out, and it just never felt right. January 4th, 2014. I feel numb most of the time. April 7th, 2014. I haven't been this low in a really long time, and it's scaring me. I think I'm better off as just a memory. By that I mean I would be better off living in someone's memory than actually living. I'm just really struggling to find out my purpose here. And then a few days later, I give up. I feel as though I'm suffocating. There's no other way to describe it. April 18th of 2014. Hold on while I curl up in bed and think about death. I've never felt so low. There are no words to properly explain how I feel inside. Cutting used to be the way I dealt with the overwhelming pain. Now it's how I deal with this overwhelming emptiness. And then a few days later, I feel so unbearably empty. And then September 17th of 2014, 3 years after I wrote the very first post about, you know, how it feels like the world's on my shoulders. 3 years later, I am just having a really hard time getting through each day. Sometimes I really scare myself with the things I think about. For some reason, during my 3.5-hour class tonight, I started thinking about what would happen if I just took all of my leftover surgery meds that I have with me. Just took them all and went to sleep. When I wake up, I sat there in my class, daydreaming about what it would feel like to die. I remember that. I remember sitting in that class and thinking, what if I died tonight? What if I go home and died? Like, would anyone in this class even give a shit if I wasn't here the next time? Like, February 13th of 2015. God damn it, I fucking hate myself. This is encroaching upon my gender struggles for real. Was in 2015. August 17th of 2015. Why can't I feel anything but emptiness? I hate everything about myself. October 18th of 2015. I feel like I could disappear and no one would notice that I was gone. November 10th of 2015. I think about dying almost 100% of the time. The next day, I hate myself. That's the beginning of end of everything. And the day after that, how can emptiness be so heavy? Yeah. It's really kind of wild to read back on these things. And to just see how sad I was. And like I've said repeatedly in this video, being able to transition relieved me of so much of the constant distress and depression I was living under. But for me, suicidal thoughts were my backup plan for a very long time. From the very first time, from probably 2009 onward, I was actively thinking about dying. basically all the time. 2009, 2010, like every night. I made so many videos on my like little like digital camera saying goodbye to my friends and family. I'm sobbing. I'm leaving messages to my parents, to my sister, to my friends saying sorry. Like I made so many goodbye videos because I just did not want to wake up the next day. And like at this point, being so far removed from that, I kind of forget it was me that felt that way. I kind of forget it was my life because, again, it was before my transition. And so I feel like a very hard, like, distinction between the before and after. And so it's almost like I'm telling someone else's story, but it was me who lived through that and had all these thoughts and feelings. It was me, but it was also my old self who was not able to be their true self, who is me now. And like the very last time I was actively suicidal was in 2015, right as I was struggling so hard with my gender, trying to figure out what was going on with how I was feeling. And, you know, ever since then, I didn't act on it. I almost did. I mean, I literally drove away from Keene thinking I would never come back to Keene or see anybody again when I left town that day. And I have not been really actively suicidal like that since then. You know, but it used to always be a comfort in my mind. If I mess up, if things aren't going my way, I can just kill myself, you know. But now I've cultivated a life that I'm happy with. I don't drink anymore. And I have so many amazing people in my life. More than I could ever have fathomed at the time that I was writing these. Like all these people that I care about and that care about me, and like different groups in my life that are just so important to me. And I'm just really fucking happy that I survived having these thoughts, that I survived this in my life, because it was really hard. And like my heart seriously breaks for people who are feeling this stuff right now and who think there is no way out and that it can't get better, because it really truly does. And you know, my heart breaks for people that have lost someone to suicide. My heart breaks for people that are thinking about it right now. Like my heart breaks for the people that have died to suicide. I mean, it's just, I feel very lucky to be where I'm at and have the life that I do. And I don't think about dying anymore. I haven't thought about dying in 8 years almost. Like truly, my transition saved my life. And yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching and listening. If you watched all of this, I was reminded of this. I don't even really know how this came to mind, but I remembered that I did this several years ago, and I was like, I haven't revisited these posts in a while. So that's very interesting to see, you know, really where I was at then. Those are all from my Tumblr. I feel like I had some things on my Twitter that were kind of sad. But I mean, for the most part, it's the same kind of things that I just kept sharing over and over. Yeah. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's really hard to read. Here's an interesting one. February 24th, 2012. I don't know what to do with one wish. There are too many things to wish away. Simplest answer, wish away life. You know, that is, yeah. Anyway, I won't dive into my old thoughts and feelings anymore. But yeah, so I hope, thank you. Is it weird to say I hope you enjoyed this video? Because obviously it's like a very loaded topic, but I don't know, maybe there's someone out there who watches it that it helps. So yeah, hope y'all are having a good week, and I'll talk to you next time.